Hi folks, so this is a quick tour of the new CRM plugin I've been working on. It's called Karks CRM because I have to have Karks in everything I produce, just a habit. I'm at Karks.com if you want to visit me online, but let's dive in and see what we have here. So I'm going to go into the plugin manager here and install a new one. We're going to upload my plugin. I've got a special folder here for it. We're going to install and activate it. There we go. So let me tell you a little bit about why I built this. So I've been using QuickBooks Desktop for many, many years. It is no longer supported. They want you to move online unless you want to buy their really expensive Enterprise Edition. So I ended up wanting to build something else. I didn't want to use QuickBooks Online because I think it's a little bit more than I need. And I'm also planning to acquire another agency next year, one that I've worked with for many, many years. The owner's retiring, and the plan is for me to be the successor. They have a separate billing system that I would also have to work with. So I wanted to build something WordPress based because it's open source. I'm familiar with it, and I wanted to build something that could handle multiple companies with different client rosters, different services, as I work through the process of kind of meshing everything together over time. With that background out of the way, I will say I built this with Claude Code, and I've been going through different iterations of features, testing things, building things, testing things, going back and forth. And I've also tested the security of this plugin through the plugin check tool, which WordPress.org uses to vet plugins that are going into the official repository. I'm not sure if this is going into the repository at some point. It might. But this is just the first version I'm releasing. So let's take a little tour of what it does. So I've got it installed and activated, and we'll click into the dashboard here, and it gives me a little prompt to add a company. So I can build my company, I can add customers, services, invoices, and I can tweak the appearance a little bit. There's actually a little getting started guide here too that will help you. Now, a couple of features of this plugin that I'm really happy with is that you can import and export things quite easily. You can import your company, which I'm going to do in a minute with a fictitious company. You can import services, customer lists, and invoices even from tools like QuickBooks or whatever. You can add a CSV, and you can map out the columns, and from there you have a list of customers or invoices or whatever from your previous tool. So I'm going to go into companies here, and I'm going to import my company. Now this is from a JSON file. This plugin will produce a JSON file with all of your company information, your invoices, your services, your customer roster. I'm going to choose that from my hard drive here, and I'm going to import it. And just like that, my fake agency has been imported. I've got 12 customers, 7 services, 16 invoices, and 9 payments. So let me take a look at my customer list. So you can see that I have my customers here, and actually there are a couple of separate jobs underneath these two customers. You can see you can actually create jobs for a customer. So if you had a client that you've done like 20 different jobs for, you can add each job down here. Now I built this, of course, as a web designer for my own needs, but you could use this really for just about anything. You could be a plumber, you could be a cleaning service, a salon, really, just about anything. You could use this plugin and build it and build off of it. But you can see here in my back end, I've got services here. I've got invoices, and we're going to also take a look at this on the front end too. You can see my company profile with all of my information, and you can actually add your logo here, which we will get to in a minute. You could choose your different payment providers and ways to create payments. Payment links on your invoices. And this generates PDF invoices, I should say, too. It'll generate a PDF invoice, and you can actually mail it to your client via the CRM on the front end here. So if I'm going to look at the front end, what this does is, and this is just the default 2025 WordPress theme, it will create a page called CRM, and you can change that name to whatever you want. But I have it just as CRM, and it's got this dashboard here that allows me to do basically all the same things on the front end as I could do on the back end. So there's also a special user level here. So if you wanted to allow a certain person to go in and work with this for you, like if you had an employee or a contractor, they could come into the front end or back end and do all the same stuff. There are a couple of things I've reserved just for the back end, like deleting a company and and exporting a company profile. But for the most part, you can do pretty much anything. So we can look into my company, and it will give me a nice little report of my customers and the invoices that I have out. You can see these invoices actually have different statuses, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. You can draft, they can be open, which means basically you've sent them to the client and you're awaiting payment. Partially paid is in there too. You can also choose to show all of your invoices, including ones that are paid. And you can see here, so we have a bunch of paid and one voided in our list here. And the same thing goes with your customers. Like you can have active and inactive customers. I can click here to show if I had inactive ones, and it'll show that on the front end. I can click here for invoice information, outstanding balance, revenue so far. We have reports that I'll show in a minute. If you had more than one company, you actually have an opportunity to, up here through this drop-down menu, you could switch between companies and it would show you the relevant information for that company. So this is great if you're a solopreneur that has, a couple of different small entities, and you could switch between them and have separate billing and all that good stuff. I can look through my customer profiles, and again, kind of the same thing as before, but if I click into one of these, you can kind of see where we're at. I can change the status to active or inactive. I can make this a job, like a sub job of one of these other customers if I wanted to. All my contact info, a note idea here. You can add jobs, and you can see how much revenue you've gotten from them this year, last year, lifetime. Search through your invoices, your payments received. If you wanted to do a special date range, you could do that. We have that built in for lots of different things here. My services, very similar. I'll click into consulting here, and you can see it's very similar. You got your name, your description, whether it's a pricing type of hourly for hourly work or project-based. This will do the math for you on hourly-based stuff, and it'll also give you a rate, which you can actually change individually in an invoice if you want to. Available to select on new invoices. This is good. You can uncheck this if it's an old service you don't offer anymore. You don't want to make it an option. Taxable. Of course, if your item is taxable, you can check that. You can set a tax in your company profile. So edit company, I can actually go down here and add a tax status here. So I live in Pennsylvania, so it's actually 6%. So we'll change it there and update the company. Invoices, this is kind of cool. So I can go in here and add a new invoice. I can import invoices or payments from QuickBooks or another tool. But here in the invoice, I have an invoice type, which is, for me, I built it just for me. In this case, it's for month and year. So I could say I want it to be for just for example, July 2026, or I can say it's for yearly web hosting, and it's for a web maintenance package. I'm going to actually build this out so that you can customize your own invoice types as well, or you can choose other and create a custom type. You can choose a customer from your list, a status of draft, open, partially paid, paid, or void, your issue date, your due date. This will keep track of when things are due for you. It will tell you how many, in the report screen, I'll show you, it will tell you how many things that you can, how many invoices rather are currently overdue. So you have line items. So I created a project base here of website design. I can add items to this. There's some fake stuff in here like logo design. I can add that. Well, that was another $450. We won't say it's taxable. We'll just update our invoice. And we can actually, let's change the status to open. And if we scroll down, we have an area to record a payment. It takes all of your accepted payment forms that you set in your profile, or you can choose other, and it will give you a chance to type in something. Payment options, you can actually add payment links in your company profile. So in this case, my fictitious company has a PayPal link. If I click here, it'll take me to a paypal.me address. In the actions area here, I have some cool stuff. So I can actually click here to download a PDF of my invoice. And we'll just put it in here. And let me take a look here. We'll go through, and in my CRM demo, you can see what my invoice looks like. It's just got my agency name here, but I will show you I can actually put in a logo up here as well. It tells me the line items. It's got the checks payable, my PayPal link that the client could conceivably click on if they're getting this through email. And then on the other end here, I've got an email invoice button. So I'm going to click that. And it's already going to have some of this information placed in. So I've got the client's name and their email, which of course I can change at any time if I want to. Subject line. And I have my invoice information here. I can change that. There are merge tags actually on the back end too that you can use that display the amount of the invoice and what it's for, and it uses the client's first name and all that good stuff. So you can actually set that on the back end as well. If I wanted to delete the invoice, that's there. I will note with the email invoices, you probably want to use like an SMTP plugin on WordPress to make sure that it gets sent to the right place and gets delivered, because that can be problematic if you're just sending through the WordPress mail function without that extra added reliability. On the reports page, I can look at different reports for my company. I can look at my revenue for the last 12 months. I can look at these invoices that have been paid. I can look at that. If I want to go back to reports, I can also look at the outstanding balance. It'll tell me those. I can export a CSV of it if I want to. And I can run a report on a particular customer. So I can go in and say, well, let's see, what is Blue Horizon Media doing for me this year? I've made $1,300 off of them this year, and they still have a $339 outstanding balance. And so that's pretty much the front end. You'll have to log in to actually access this. It's only for administrators and people with the right user role. If I go in here to the WordPress admin, for example, you can have a user role with called CRM manager that could go in and do all these things with the CRM, just like an admin could. So, like again, if you had an accountant or somebody you wanted to task with bookkeeping, they could do that through that user role. And just a couple of other things on the back end here. Like if I go into my company, I can, again, select a logo. I can select a quick logo here. So I put my fake agency logo here. I also have this email invoice template, an invoice footer, which is also WYSIWYG, which you can put in there, something that'll go at the bottom of your invoices. And the appearance screen I also wanted to get to as well. Like you can choose different colors here, and it'll tell you what it changes. I also have it set so that it automatically finds an accessible contrast. Like so if you chose like a white background, it's not going to put white text on there. It's going to put dark text and vice versa to make sure that we don't make any extra accessibility mistakes. And if you are the type of person who just wants to style everything from the ground up, you can actually disable all the plugin styles. It won't look very pretty on the front end until you override all the styles, write them yourself. But the GitHub repository has all the classes available that you can style and what they're for. That's really kind of it here. One more thing I will show is we'll just show you what an invoice looks like. With the PDF with your logo on it. So your agency logo is on there. And that also displays on the front end as well. I guess I will show you that one real quick. So, and that you want to make sure that you have your proper image aspect ratio and all that, and that's something I plan to a bug I plan to squash here in future versions. But I hope that's a helpful look at what I've done here. If you have any questions, just drop me a line.